Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Bench. I'm a sophomore here at UVU, and I'm currently writing in the Writings for Social Change this fall. I'll be making this presentation on the paper that I will be writing. And actually, something fairly interesting happened to me in my first English class, English 2010. We were trying to get a subject that we were really passionate about, and for me, I couldn't really find anything solid, anything that I really enjoyed and loved. But finally, after some studying and meeting with my teacher, I was able to find something about the census that I really enjoyed. And it was particularly about the questions on race about the census. So I've dedicated many hours of research to it, and I've learned a lot. And overall, how I wanted to start off today was just asking you guys, what does race mean to you? Now, either it could be collectively, race as a whole, it could be individually, race as an individual, or it could be family. How do you identify racially? But a little bit of history about the census structure. Historically, the census was created, as everyone knows, in order to tax the states. So each state was counted, the population was counted, and then after, the government was able to tax each state fairly. And not long after that, the element of race came into the effect of the census due to the Three-Fifths Compromise. And that was a compromise that the slaves, which the United States had, would count as 3/5 of a person. And that is how race was brought into the census. Not long after, the race questions became more elaborate as Hispanic and Latino and Asian communities gathered in the U.S. And soon they would send out an enumerator, is what he was called. And this person who worked for the census would knock on everyone's doors and actually look at the people individually and determine what their race was just by looking at them. And I thought that was very interesting, I'm not sure if that would be called racism or racial profiling. Sometimes it would be just with a quick glance that people's race would be determined for them. But I honestly just thought that was very interesting. And then, as we all know, I think it was around 1970 that people were actually able to answer their own race questions for themselves. And the race questions are broken down into 5 main groups, 5 racial questions. And those are, in question 5 of the census, it asks the following, question 6. It asks, what is this person's race? So it could be white, black or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian, or some other race. So now if you think about U.S.'s history and just the minority groups in the U.S., whites is a majority, blacks minority, Asian minority, Native American minority, and some other race. So the big major race that's missing there is actually Hispanic. And with me identifying as half Hispanic, half white, this question was particularly difficult to answer. The question before question 6 asks about Hispanic origin, is what it says. So the question reads as follows: is this person of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin? And then you have 5 options. You can say no, not Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish, yes, Mexican, yes, Puerto Rican, yes, Cuban, or yes, another Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. And then you would fill out below what that origin was. So with me, that was really interesting, because people are talking about your race, how you identify, and for myself, I've always considered myself a little bit more Mexican race because I look a bit more Mexican. But my father is white, and I never really got the characteristics of him besides the curly hair, which I actually got from my dad. But I never identified myself as white. And then after studying about the census and seeing that race only has 5 options and that Hispanic isn't even considered a race, to me that was just something, completely wild. So after further research, I started looking up some things, and lots of people are in my same scenario. There's mixes of different races, interracial marriages that produce children who are biracial or even multiracial. So that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races all in one person. And the race question on the census only gives you the option of 5 of those. So I thought that was really interesting and honestly a little bit just poorly structured. And if we take a further look into the census, another reason why the census is not correct, the race question mixes origin of ancestry, be it Asian, with origins of color, black or white. So the race question asks about your ancestry, about where you came from. Are you African American? Are you Native American? But it also includes the aspects of white or black, which was another thing that just completely boggled my mind. So after further research and just trying to figure out what would be the solution, I came to the conclusion that honestly there isn't a perfect answer. Anciently, people were judged on their ethnicity, which I thought would be a great option to replace race with. What is your ethnicity? But there was such things as ethnic cleansing and even religious cleansing as well. Ancestry as well would have to do sort of with your ethnicity, your origins. So with me personally, I could not find any one solid conclusion that we could do. But I propose, how can we fix this? The world is changing. America is becoming more and more diverse every single day. And as things grow and as things expand and become new and different, we just need to adapt with them and change as well. And the census is one of those things that needs to be improved and needs to adapt as we adapt. So I'm not posing a solution, which might be a little bit frustrating, but I'm posing the problem and an option. So I just propose that we just stop asking race questions on the census. And there actually is a department of the government, it's called the ASC, the American Survey Committee, which actually gathers all sorts of racial information that is a completely unheard of part of the government. And its sole purpose is to gather that information and have the facts so that other branches of government may go into it and get what they need. So with the race questions on the census being such a controversial topic and the census being so well known, I propose that the American Survey Committee take hold and be it consume or just omit all of these questions of race, just whatever the government feels best. And then we can finally grow as a community and we'll stop being divided by the race and the color that has once been such a big division of the United States. I'm Ryan Bench, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all very much for your time.